Now, at the end of proposition 111, Euclid provides a set of remarks. So let's go through those remarks because they are basically a summarization of what we have already done. Now, the remark says the apotome and the irrational straight lines following it are neither the same with the medial straight lines nor with one another. So here, apotome and the irrational straight lines following it. What he means by that is apotome, first apotome of a medial straight line, second apotome of a medial straight line, minor, that which produces with a rational area a medial hole, that which produces with a medial area a medial hole. They are not the same as any of the medial lines. That is medial, first bimedial, second bimedial, major, side of a rational plus a medial area, side of the sum of two medial areas, or a binomial. He basically summarizes what we had done. For the square on a medial straight line, if applied to a rational straight line, produces as breadth a straight line rational and incommensurable in length with that to which it is applied. While the square on an apotome, if applied to a rational straight line, produces as breadth a first apotome. The square on a first apotome of a medial straight line, if applied to a rational straight line, produces as breadth a second apotome. The square on a second apotome of a medial straight line, if applied to a rational straight line, produces as breadth a third apotome. The square on a minor straight line, if applied to a rational straight line, produces as breadth a fourth apotome. The square on the straight line which produces with a rational area a medial hole, if applied to a rational straight line, produces as breadth a fifth apotome. And the square on the straight line which produces with a medial area a medial hole, if applied to a rational straight line, produces as breadth a sixth apotome. So, since the said breadths differ from the first and from one another, from the first because it is rational, and from one another since they are not the same in order, it is clear that irrational straight lines themselves also differ from one another. Since the apotome has been proved not to be the same as the binomial straight line, but if applied to a rational straight line, the straight lines following the apotome produce breadths, each according to its own order, apotomes, and those following the binomial straight line themselves also according to their order produce the binomials as breadths. Therefore, those following the apotome are different and those following the binomial straight line are different. So basically what he's saying is there are in order 13 irrational straight lines in all. So we have the medial, binomial, first bimedial, second bimedial, major, side of a rational plus a medial area, side of the sum of two medial areas, apotome, first apotome of a medial straight line, second apotome of a medial straight line, minor, that which produces with a rational area a medial hole, that which produces with a medial area a medial hole. And basically these are the modern notation based formulas for these. So when we say a medial straight line, we are talking of a line which is of length p times fourth root of k. Binomial is p plus p times root k, and so on. So, the surprising fact is that Euclid was able to come out with such complicated presentation of lines or how to arrive at those lines. Remember, these are all he represented as lines, and he's mentioned how to arrive at these lines. Here one interesting fact is that if you see, binomial is p plus p times root k. Apotome is p minus p times root k. Nowadays, what we do, we say p plus minus p times root k. So basically combine addition and subtraction into a single formula using plus minus one above the other. Similarly, if you notice, first bimedial is p times fourth root of k plus p times fourth root of k cube. And here it is minus. Here it is plus. Here it is minus. Major is plus between these two terms. And for minor, it is minus in between these two terms. The terms themselves are same. Here it is a sum. Here it is the difference. So similarly, that which produces with a rational area a medial whole corresponds to side of a rational plus a medial area. Here it is plus. Here it is minus. Similarly, side of the sum of two medial areas, that which produces with a medial area and medial whole. This is minus. So that is the summarization of the various propositions that we looked at with respect to binomial lines, medial lines, apotomes. That was the remarks after proposition 10.111. Again, let me remind you, there is a link to a PDF book which describes all these propositions in detail. Please feel free to download it, refer to it, and if you think somebody else can also benefit from it, please do share. That's it for now. Bye.